Right, so we'll start off. I'm just going to give you a quick background on SproutX and why we all are where we are right now. And then I'm going to throw to Andrew, who's going to get the party started, and of course we'll start out with the pitches. But a quick background on SproutX. SproutX is launched in September and has really only been around for a good part of 12 months. It's been a very, very fast journey for us, and it's been an absolute joy to ultimately lead the force in building an Agtech sector here in Australia. The SproutX idea came out of a conversation between the National Farmers Federation and Findex, who are both our parent companies. So it's been really, really great to be working for two companies that are so passionate, and I know this sounds really cliche, but about driving real grassroots innovation. And I, for one, who's spent most of my life in the industry, am so sick of the talk of innovation in Australia, and it's so great to be working with companies that are actually profiling these companies tonight that are actually coming up with real solutions for our industry. A big thank you to our sponsors, of course, the National Farmers Federation and Findex, and it's great to have so many of the team here from Findex this evening. Ruralco have been a huge supporter of ours and a strategic investor in us, and of course giving our startups access to distribution along with Findex, and Tim Higgins is here tonight from Ruralco. Meat and Livestock Australia, represented through the Meat and Livestock Donor Company. CEO Christine Pitters with us this evening, and her and Josh Whelan, who are also here, have been massive supporters of SproutX since the early days, trying to develop a great ecosystem for red meat producers to benefit from. I think we've got some guys from Ridley here who are also a partner of ours, and the Rural Industry Research and Development Corporation, commonly known by RURDIC. And I think that identifies the amount of industry that SproutX is really being able to pull together in to help these startups. And we've been hearing from these guys all week as our startups have started their first week to better understand where they need to perhaps focus in their startup to get the most amount of traction in industry. When it comes to traction, our focus is on farmers. We feel that for too long farmers have been left out of the conversation when it comes to some innovation in agriculture. So everything that we do is farmer focused, and everything that we want our startups to be doing is also farmer focused. And there'll be a bit of a surprise a bit later on in relation to the panel and the kind of people that we've got along here who are giving our guys feedback on their startups. And as I said, it's about bringing that farmer back into the conversation to make sure that what we're developing for them is of commercial value. And lastly, I just wanted to thank you guys for being here tonight, but ultimately, we've got just under 300 people here tonight, and that just signifies that in really under 12 months, the momentum that Agtech has picked up in Australia. SproutX has helped meetups pop up all around Australia, in Sydney, Brisbane. We've got one in Tasmania now. The guys over in Perth and Adelaide are doing a great job. So there's a lot of momentum in this space now, and when we look at Australian agriculture, $63 billion industry, the fastest growing pillar of our economy. We'll get to 100 in the next few years, no doubt, which will put us at that coal, iron ore level, and no doubt, due to the nature of agriculture, will be the sustainable enabler for the Australian economy. And of course, technology is going to be the way that we get there. We don't have any more land, we don't have a lot more water, so using what we have and becoming more efficient, which is ultimately where Agtech sits, is how we're going to get there. So a massive thank you. It was only 8 years ago I was scratching my head looking at a GPS on a tractor when I was on the farm, and it's just come so far, and tonight we'll get a really good snapshot of that, which is a beautiful segue into introducing Andrew Lai. Andrew is the Accelerator Director for SproutX, and Andrew and myself and Thomas Paul from Findex have essentially, I suppose you could class us as the co-founders of SproutX, and he's going to basically get this party started and run the pitch night. So have a great night. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for that, Sam. And yeah, as Sam mentioned, I'm the Accelerator Director for SproutX. To begin with, we're just so tremendously proud of the startups that we have. We have 11 of them pitching tonight, and I'm talking them up, so hopefully you're not disappointed. To explain the format for tonight, they'll be doing 3-minute pitches. So each startup will come up to a 3-minute pitch, and then right after that we'll have the esteemed judges we have here on the left giving some feedback. So to introduce the judges, first up we have Tim Heasley. He's the COO of Artesian Ventures. They've funded more startups in Australia than any other venture capitalist, and they've also the investment manager for SproutX. So thank you, Tim. Next we have Gary Gale. He's the head of agri development at NAB, and he's seen many thousands of agri businesses. So we're tremendously honoured to have you here to have a look at some startup businesses. And then finally, we also have a real farmer here. So it's really great to see the customer represented. And we have Robert Trethewey, who also happens to be Sam Trethewey's father. So assured he's a very funny guy. So looking forward to the comments. One final thing in terms of the awards. So obviously the judges will be, putting together some scores and giving their award, and the winner will receive venture capital interview meetings with Findex, Artesian, and also Rulco. So it's a very sought after prize. And then separate to that, we're also running what's called a Twitter hashtag battle. So at the end of each pitch, you'll have the opportunity to actually vote for each of the startups. So if you like it, just write in the hashtag, and at the end of it, we'll calculate it, and you'll see it come up, and they'll win the People's Award, and that's a $500 prize. So without further ado, I'd like to call up David Davies from AgriLedger to blow you away with his pitch.
So hi everyone, I'm David Davies of AgriLedger, and we are a social impact startup helping developing world farmers. Sorry. We've lost a couple of slides here. AgriLedger started at a FinTech for Good hackathon. We wanted to win a prize from Singularity University, so we challenged ourselves with a crazy idea. What idea could we come up with that would improve the lives and increase the income for 1 billion people? We focused on the world's smallest farmers, the people who were so poor that nobody cared to come up with a solution for them. The idea was, we realized that their problem, that things that have been solved in places like this, were often, a century ago, were often insurmountable problems for them, and it all centered around trust and cooperation. The idea was AgriLedger, a simple smartphone solution, a system, that helped the farmers plan and cooperate better. We won the prize, but Bill and Gates Foundation were there, and they and the who's who of NGOs loved the idea and wanted to run projects together with us. This blew us away, because we were trying to win a prize. Back to the original slides. Sorry. But we were skeptical, but despite this encouragement, we were skeptical. So we went out into the villages and jungles. We've spent months living together with the farmers to make sure that what we build actually solve their problems. We're working in Kenya, Papua New Guinea, and Myanmar. And in all those places, we're finding the results surprised even us. And if there's one thing I can suggest to any start-out up there, the first thing you do, send your lawyer to the African jungle. It works on so many levels. So this is Maruki, who's one of the farmers of our Kenya pilot. Maruki's a wheat farmer. The commercial farms near him get 26 bags per acre. Maruki gets 6. Last season he got 6. But now he shares equipment and cooperates with other farmers, so this season he'll get about 15 bags per acre. Before AgriLedger, the Kenyan farmers simply couldn't plan and coordinate and share equipment like they do today, and they all earn more than ever before. About 3 times difference from one season to the next. As far as I know, we have a unique business model. The NGOs fund us to provide Agriledger and the smartphones to the farmers completely for free. The farmers earn more than ever before. Then Agriledger provides products and services like solar lighting and microloans to the farmers through the application. So John and I have run 2 previous companies before. We've both had successful exits in the past, and we've got a diverse and experienced team backing us up every step of the way. We're doing our second seed round at the moment, so we're looking for another $300,000 so that Agriledger can continue this journey and maybe one day achieve that crazy idea of actually helping 1 billion people. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for the presentation. I've had the privilege of seeing that before. It's a slightly longer version thereof. So well done. I don't think you quite got the story out as well as you did the first time. And obviously you had a couple of technical problems there along the way. Look, it's a really good idea, and all power to you. And we're very proud to have invested in you.
Yeah, look, thanks for the presentation. Look, I haven't got a lot to add other than it's such a worthwhile thing to do, and a big well done. And I know it's not easy to spread and where you're working, and I love it that you sent your legal person there. You should have sent your accountant and banker as well. Anyway.
I'm the banker and I go, so.
Okay.
Thanks for that. Just one question to me that came immediately to me is your interest at, and this is not a question to be answered, at a moral level or is it a business level? Because to me the income streams seem to be wanting, for want of a better term. Just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, our interest, we actually had another very viable business that John and I were working on, and when we started this, because the NGOs loved the idea so much, we saw we could make a difference to the world, so we actually dropped another amazing business to focus on this. So our interest is helping people, but the business side is actually really solid because we grow users with the help of the NGOs for free effectively, and then we just provide products into them, and that makes a solid business.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, David. So as mentioned, if anyone actually liked Agriledger's pitch and it was awesome, just write hashtag #SXAgriledger and you'll be able to vote for him on Twitter. So next up, we have Caleb from A Plant.
Hi everybody, how are we? My name is Caleb. I'm the founder and CEO of A Plant. We created a vertical garden called a tree. It's clever. A tree grows fresh vegetables, herbs and vegetables in homes all year round. And as you can see here, you don't even need electricity if you place it in a nice sunny spot outside. I created this business because I wanted to grow more with less. Less time, less space, less energy. And we believe that this is achievable if we empower all people to grow. Today, as you may know, 50% of the world's population, as you may know today, by mid-century, we would need to produce at least 50% more food by mid-century. That means that we would need to it would be awesome if we could grow food where we live and eat. So that's the whole goal behind A Plant. 50% of our population currently live in urban populations. And in 30 years, that number will be 80%. So we understand that overpopulation is becoming a big problem, and we should look at how we could grow more with less. The solution is to grow more with less by growing plants vertically. If we were able to grow plants with if we were able to grow plants through the use of hydroponics, where we could grow plants on top of each other, we could grow plants in a low maintenance solution, where we could grow plants, 30 plants, using 95% less water in 1 square meter every single month. We use aeroponic technology to pump water throughout a tree. So as water falls down a tree, it gets siphoned up to the top, and it could continuously recirculate the water, creating a closed loop system. So a plant's target market, like our plan to market, is to focus on 3 phases. Phase 1 is to create urban community farms. Phase 2 is to create household farms. And phase 3 is to create self-reliant farms, where we would be able to create food systems from alternative energy sources. So we would love to work on that in the future. The competition, not only are we the first in Australasia, because all of these companies are in North America, modular food systems, we're also the only ones that hold a patent that combines a foot pump with a vertical garden, so creating self-irrigation. This is our business model. Our marketing strategy for our customers is to create a subscription model where we're able to provide our audience with seeds, with nutrients on an ongoing basis, being able to provide and encourage them to continuously grow. This is our traction to date. We have in May of 2016, we registered the business. In November, we raised capital, and we've built 4 prototypes to date, where we're at to the point where we're ready for production. This is the team that has been working tirelessly around the clock to bring you a tree. So, yeah, this is our partners that have been supporting us along our journey. And in the next couple of days, we'll be launching our Kickstarter campaign. So please do look online, register on our website, and remember one thing: plant a tree in your home. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb, and we'll pass it on to the judges.
Thanks, Caleb. Good presentation. A little bit nervous there, I saw. It's not like you.
Yeah.
Big audience and all. Look, it's a great idea. I really like it. And I think you present that really well. I guess the thing I'd like to hear a little more about at some stage, and others will too, is just genuine customer demand for the product. Just, how much it looks really good, but do people really want it? That would be the piece I'd want to hear more about.
Just, and again, well done. If you could just clarify for me, so I don't buy it. It's a subscription issue, is that?
Yeah, sorry, he doesn't get the chance to respond, just to be fair to all the others.
Good. I'm going to turn that into a statement. You don't buy it, you just get a chance.
Well done, Caleb. I actually see it as a competition for farmers, because I see these things sprouting up in backyards everywhere and have little or no interest.
Thank you, Caleb. If you'd like to vote for Caleb, just tweet SX a plant. So next up, we actually have Bloombox. So Philomena and Mel.
Compare the pair. This bunch of roses has travelled over 13,000 kilometres and has taken 3 weeks to get into your home, only to die after a couple of days on your dining room table. In fact, almost half of all flowers don't even make it that far and are thrown out before they're even monetised. There's a war on waste when it comes to food, but no one's talking about flowers. There is a better way. This bunch of flowers has travelled just 50 kilometres, was picked by Steve, who's run his family farm for 2 generations, and is delivered straight to you with no waste, and they still look amazing 7 days in. I would want to know the difference, and I think it's very important. In a minute, we're going to ask you for some help. Hi, I'm Mel, and this is Phil. We're the co-founders of Bloombox Co., and we deliver fresh farm-to-vase flowers to your door every week. We help our customers put the finishing touch on their homes and their businesses in a way that supports local growers and minimises waste. We do this through a subscription model, delivering seasonal fresh flowers, and with digital content, we educate our customers about where their flowers come from and give them tips on how to style and care for their flowers. Since our launch, we've grown an audience of over 100,000 on social media, and that's resulted in over 60K revenue. Our customers are totally changing the way they consume flowers. And from talking to our community, we know that we're not the only people that care about where their flowers come from.
And right now, the floral vertical is experiencing a comeback. There's a rush of startups trying to innovate in this space, almost all of them aimed at the male gift buyer. We know that's crazy when women actually spend more in this category. But we're different. Both Melissa and myself come from trend-driven backgrounds, and we know that flowers are a fashion-driven lifestyle product that have a place in homes and businesses. They're not just a gift product. And that's why we focus on creating a beautiful online and offline experience that educates the customer and creates a relevant lifestyle context around flowers. And that means that the value only starts and not ends when the delivery is received. And that's something that our over 90% female customer base are loving. We want to change the way the world gets flowers, grow the pie and our slice of this $100 billion global industry by generating brand new demand for great local product from a previously untapped addressable market. Like we said, we need your help, and very soon we'll be looking for investment. So we'd love to start that conversation with you tonight. And we're looking to grow, so if you or someone you know has a home or a workspace and would love amazing flowers and to support local growers, please come and speak to us after the pitches and come bloom with us.
Thank you, and I'll pass it to the judges.
Very good presentation. Well done. I won't say I'm proud to be invested in you because I'm proud to be invested in all of these. But yeah, very good presentation. The team looks good. I didn't quite get I'm not 100% across sort of, you know, the difference that you're going to make to this market. There's still, I don't doubt that there is a difference, but I think you really probably need to just do a little more to just kind of really tease that out so we really understand that. But overall, really well done.
I think this is a bit shallow of me, but you just made me think about when's the last time I bought some flowers. They are a great product to change moods and those type of things. And the main note I made was I need to change my habits. So thank you for that.
I would say a supply system that's been developed over the years has seemed to work because it gives margin. So I'm not, again, I don't see where you get your margin from.
Thank you very much. And if you'd like to vote for Bloombox, the hashtag is SXBloombox. So I love the hustle as well. So if anyone wants the code, once again, it's just use SproutX on the Bloombox website. Next up, we have Carlos from FarmApp. Oh, sorry. Next up, we have FarmGate MSU.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Ballage, and tonight I want to share a story with you. This is a story about a young farmer that's got a problem. And that young farmer, he has a cattle production business in which he supplies his premium quality beef direct to the consumer. The problem is, he has to put his cattle on the back of a truck and travel at 150 kilometres to the nearest abattoir. He knows that this adds additional costs to his business, and worse, it decreases the quality of the meat that he's providing that he works so hard to produce. We know that this is a real problem because I'm that farmer. But like all good farmers who's got a problem, I'm bloody well going to do something about it. So I present to you the FarmGate Mobile Slaughter Unit, the first Australian on-farm, truly mobile slaughter unit that we're going to bring and change the supply system for the red meat industry. The system works by pretty much bringing the trucks onto the farms. And so in doing so, we're going to pivot the supply chain of red meat on its head. And where before it was the animals going to the abattoir, right now the abattoir goes to the animals. We think we've got an outstanding value proposition, not only from the farmer's perspective, but also from the consumers. We eliminate live animal transport. We increase animal welfare accordingly. We produce the highest quality meat that hasn't gone through any stress. We are able to move the farmers up the value chain, all whilst reducing the costs to the farmer. Our modus operandi, how do we actually operate? The unit will go to each farm and start processing. The operation will take between 1 to 2 days. From there, the carcasses will be moved into refrigerated trucks and then moved back to a central butchery unit where the further value adding will occur and go into the sales and distribution chain. What traction have we had? We have farmers screaming out for this already and consumers who want to see it from an improved quality and an animal ethics perspective. We've already spoken to government, we have seed funding, we've got detailed designs, we're collaborating overseas, and we have a sales and distribution network ready to go. So we're ready to build, validate and operate. Looking at the stats here, you might be a little shocked about the size of the market, but we see that the Australian domestic market alone offers an outstanding opportunity for us to move in there and actually bring a bit of disruption to the current supply chain. And the best bit, there's no direct competition. We will be the first truly mobile unit. Now we expect a bit of competition from the static abattoirs, but our value proposition and our flexibility, nimbleness and efficiency, I think is going to put us in a great position to take a part of that supply chain. And of course, the farmer can't do it on his own. I'd like you to meet the team. Behind us, we have an educator, a vet, a marketer, and a chef. And if you have a look at the skill set, that's actually across the supply chain that we're just about to disrupt. So in the end, I would like to have a chat with any smart money investors who can see the strategic potential. We want to have strategic collaboration with our investors and take mobile slaughter unit to the Australian farmers. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chris. Judges.
Thanks, Chris. It's a great presentation, great idea. I couldn't help but think I'm old enough to remember Monty Python. A mobile slaughter unit just sounds slightly Python-esque. But I like it. What I didn't understand from that pitch, and which I'm sure you've done the thinking on, but you need to bring out, is who's going to do it? Who's building this? Where's it coming from? Is this just an idea? Because if it's just an idea, I'm sure it's not. But if this is just an idea, then someone else can copy it very quickly. So you need to be able to show that you've actually taken steps to, you know, actually do this. But otherwise, well done.
I was thinking a couple of points, and first is the NAB proudly banks some of the biggest abattoirs in Australia, so that worried me straight off. The second was, it just twigged to me that there's byproducts and waste in abattoirs, and I was concerned where that was going to go, how that was going to be dealt with at farm level, or whether that... I was just a little lost with that, but wow, you turned a whole idea on its head. Well done.
Congratulations, Chris. I like this idea, and I think it's a great idea. I can see so many fits in the 10-acre guy and the 50-acre guy and the 3,000-acre guy. I think it's just a brilliant idea, and I wish you well. Thank you.
Fantastic. And once again, if you'd like to vote for Chris and Farmgate MSU, hashtag SX Farmgate MSU. So next up, we do have Carlos from FarmApp.
I'm Carlos Gonzalez, co-founder and CTO of FarmApp. Crop losses to pests and diseases may represent the equivalent of food required to feed more than 1 billion people. And if you think about it, that's actually more than 10% of the global population. And it's not only that. controlling pests and diseases can take more of the 30% of the final income for the farmers. For that reason, we have created FarmUp. FarmUp is digitizing IPM, integrated pest management for greenhouse crops. At the moment, we are working with more than 700 hectares, and we are expanding to the rest of the world. We are actually coming to Australia because Australia is the fourth largest producer of vegetables under greenhouses. Our solution is based in 4 main pillars. The first one is a scouting application to collect the data in the field. We are also combining that with soil sensors and weather stations. We are also tracking the people who is applying the pesticides in the field, so we know exactly how and where the product is being applied. And lastly, we are also automating greenhouses. We are combining the information from all these 4 modules to facilitate decision making and to make farmers' their life easier. Here are the screens of the application that farmers are using to collect the data. They can actually visualize the information straight on the application because no internet is required. But if you have access to internet, all the data is synchronized to the cloud, and you can visualize the information in our business intelligence platform. Here's the team. We are 7 people working full-time with FarmUp. The co-founder, Luis Eduardo, he's a mechanical engineer with more than 15 years of experience in agriculture. He actually created the first automated greenhouse in Colombia. And I'm Carlos. I've been in Australia for more than 5 years. I'm a permanent resident here, and I have more than 10 years of experience in software development. Last year, we did over $110,000 in revenue. Currently, we are working with more than 40 farms, and FarmUp is actively being used in more than 1,200 greenhouses every day. Our clients are currently in Colombia, Ecuador, and Kenya, most of them flower growers. Actually, Colombia is the second largest producer of flowers in the world. We are at the moment working with the second and the third largest producers of flowers in Colombia. FarmUp is the only application that is 100% focused for greenhouses. We are by far the more affordable and integrated solution. Tonight we are looking for greenhouse growers who wants to start saving money in pesticides, about 15%, and who wants to increase the productivity by more than 20%. So we are looking forward to getting you on board. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. And on to the judges.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a very good presentation. That's exactly the way someone should be pitching a business idea. I look across the categories I'm marking against here: team, traction, technology, and presentation. And it was really clear to me in each of those categories where you're up to with the business. So really well done.
Yeah, very slick. Well done. I think you've got a few competitors. I've had a few people knocking on my door talking about exactly the very similar type stuff, but well done and good luck with it.
Yeah, well done. I didn't know we had a problem, but obviously you're fixing it, so good luck with that. Go forward.
Okay, and the hashtag for Carlos is SXFarmApp. So on to the next. We have Matt from IoTag.
Hello guys, my name's Matthew Peterson. I'm a country vet and a cattle farmer from Finley in New South Wales, and I'm a co-founder here at IoTag. And our mission is to make farmers resilient, efficient and profitable. I'm going to tell you a story about Tom. He's a farmer up at Carrathul in New South Wales. He breeds about 1,000 cattle and he's got a bull team of about 30 bulls. He does that on 200 square kilometres of land. And every year he needs 900 calves to hit the ground to keep his business viable. Now, at the end of last year, I pregnancy tested his herd, and on that day we discovered that the bulls had broken down. They didn't do their job, and that's going to result this year in only 600 calves being born. Now, for Tom, this is a big deal. It's going to cost him $180,000 just this year in lost revenues. So he's pretty desperate to find a solution to stop this happening again. And so for what if, for 1/10 of that price, we could provide a solution that automatically detected that his bulls had been injured or gone lame or got crook and are no longer suitable to be joined, and we can replace those bulls. Well, that's what we're doing. So what we're doing is long-range GPS tracking of cattle, okay? We're going to do automated health alerts. So that means that we can automatically detect that a bull is now injured and won't be fit for the rest of the joining. And we're specifically doing it for pastoral and extensive farming system, because I reckon I know what a lot of you are thinking. You're going, oh, that's awesome, another Fitbit for a cow, because that's sort of been a bit hot lately, okay? Now, the thing that you've got to realise is that for Tom, there's nothing out there at the moment, because everything's been focused in the intensive and indoor farming and systems, like cattle systems, and using short range, or they don't even have tracking capability, okay? So we are specifically working in the space of long-range tracking with automated health alerts that's designed for extensive and pastoral farms. And just so you know, that's a 10 times bigger market here in Australia than the intensive cattle production systems in terms of number of head. Okay. So where we're at, this is my farm here. It's up in northern Victoria. It's not extensive, but it's up in northern Victoria. What we're doing is we're setting it up as a concept farm, okay? Our sensors, our first batch of sensors arrive in about a month. We'll put them through their limits, and most importantly, what we're going to demonstrate to farmers is that this is really possible, okay? We can get this done. So how it's going to work, how we're going to solve this $180,000 problem for Tom is that initially we're going to have to network his farm with some base stations, okay? And he'll pay for that. That's a one-off fee. Then he'll be paying a monthly subscription to our application, our software, and he'll just pay a per sensor fee to strap a sensor to his bulls, hopefully his cows, and hopefully anything else that he wants to track on his farm. Okay, and so behind it, it's a pretty big task, and what we needed to put together was a team that was highly skilled and that was able to take it from manufacturing right to the end of getting better outcomes on farm. And so that's what we've done, and we've also got some guys on board that are pretty shrewd businessmen, so that's going to help. Now, I took this picture about 3 months ago, and it's a picture of a cow chasing a pig. And what it represents our journey. We are going to bring home the bacon, okay? This is a massive opportunity both to track cattle in Australia, here in Australia, overseas, and our broader offering of tracking whatever needs to be tracked on farm. So I hope you guys want to come on the journey with us. All I want is for you to get in touch with me at the moment. If you're interested in tracking cattle, if you think you could partner, or if you think that your money is going to help us get the job done, there are my contact details. I'm best on the phone, but you can email me or hit us up on the website. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Matt. And Tim?
Thanks, Matt. It's a great presentation. Look, if this is as much of a problem as you say it is, and I'll leave it to my more bucolic colleague, then that, you know, it sounds really good. You present very well. You present very confidently, and that's pretty important as you take your startup along the path. Yeah, well done.
I like the look of your farm. That was lovely. You should be talking to some people like James Bentley, who was on stage, who did the introduction before, because we do a lot of experiments on farms, and we're working in these areas. And the only other thing I thought of, I've got 550 staff out there. I wouldn't mind tracking a few of those and knowing what they're up to.
Anything's possible.
A good presentation. We used to do bull testing years ago, where you put them in the yard before you before joining to check that everything was all right and all the rest. Just a thought though, if your collar could read the tag of the cow, you'd know who's up who and who's paying the rent then, so that'd be a good option.
That's a plan. Yeah, that is a plan. Alrighty, thank you again, Matt from IoTag. And their hashtag is SXIOTAG, IoTag. So next up, we have Supriya from Out of Box Solutions.
Hi everyone, I'm Supriya. I'm from Out of Box Solutions. Me and Jay, we are the co-founders of this company. Both of us have been part of the technology industry for over 17 years. Our Agtech journey, however, started a few months ago over a casual discussion with a farmer who had lost few lambs to fox attacks. Since then, we have spoken to a lot of farmers, and one thing which consistently came up in every discussion was feral animals. We heard stories where a farmer had lost 20 lambs in one weekend to fox attacks, or the stories where wild dogs had wiped off businesses from many of the farmers. Feral animal is a huge issue. It costs hundreds of millions of dollars to the Australian economy. There are some existing solutions. So shooting, it's effective if the timing is right. Fencing is quite expensive, but you would still have foxes sneaking through it. Baiting, it works, but it's not selective in its nature. What that means is, while the bait may kill a fox, it can very well kill your own farm dog. So all these solutions have a human element missing from it to make a selection based on a judgment. Our proposed solution is going to provide this missing human element by using technology. So our solution is based on IoT, which is Internet of Things component. It will be backed by artificial intelligence algorithms. So IoT would have a sensor component which sits in the farms. So instead of humans waiting in the bushes with their guns, waiting for the animals to come, the sensor would do that job. And the artificial intelligence algorithm would carry out the task of making sense of the captured data. We have created an early prototype. So we got these sensors which will detect when the animals are coming near it. It will capture images. It will do an image analysis based on some cognitive APIs. And the current prototype is set to set out an alert for the farmers whenever a dangerous animal is detected. It's an early stage prototype. As we move along, we expect the product to get much more effective solution. We've got keen interest from farmers and control groups to see how this solution is going to work for them. Local authorities who are keen to understand what kind of data it's going to capture. Our effort is backed by industry body like MLA, Meat Livestock of Australia. And there are some various opportunities to share the data that it's going to start capturing. Essentially, we see any livestock farm in Australia which is suffering from these issues of feral animals can use this solution. And it's not only Australia, the problem is global. There are various countries who suffer from feral animal issues. So at this stage, we are looking for more participation in the field trials. If you know anyone who would like to participate in the field trials or has a story to tell us or some feedback to share to make this solution effective, you can reach us out on our website, which is outofboxsolutions.com.au. We have a Facebook page, which is Feral Animals Australia, where you can post your stories. The more feedback we get, the more effective the solution is going to be to this huge industry problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Supriya, and the judges.
Thanks, Supriya. That's a great presentation. It looks like you're building some pretty fancy tech there, and I wonder whether it has applications beyond agriculture, which then led me to think, well, if it does, defence or keeping track of people in nightclubs or something, is there already something out there that's been built that you can perhaps use or you know, kind of morph into this solution? Something to think about.
Yep. Yeah, look, big well done. I think you've hit on a topic that's really important, and there is a lot of money being spent on fencing of different types to keep out different animals, and this is an interesting one. I really like the idea that you can tell the difference between a kelpie and a fox. So I know there's some artificial intelligence going there, but this is interesting. Well done.
Certainly a huge problem. Certainly a huge problem, and quite interesting the way you go. I didn't quite work out how we get rid of the problem once you've established the foxes in the paddock, but I'm sure you'll work that out. No, good luck with it.
Thank you. And the hashtag for Supriya is SX out of box. So just to give you guys a bit of a taste of how the voting is currently going. So it looks like in the lead we have Chris from Farmgate MSU, and second Farm App, and third IoTag. So yeah, do keep the votes coming. The more votes each one receives, the more likely they are to win. So the hashtag battle is certainly on. Next, we have Snaptrap. Kim from Snaptrap.
Hi everyone, I'm Kim from Snaptrap. We make remote monitoring for insect pest traps. I love to grow cherries, and I'd love to grow exports, but we are under attack. For example, fruit flies cost Australian horticulture $300 million a year. So we need some defence. We think that automation is the solution. We can take the work out of manual surveillance, and we can optimise the pest control work. We can take the cost out of time, fuel, chemicals, and get on with growing more clean fruit, lift unit prices, and crack new markets. So this is our device. It retrofits onto existing systems. It makes a rigorous audit trail, and it gives real-time, simple decision information. We've run a successful proof of concept. We've won our first wonderful customer, and we've got good conversation going with researchers and industry. Our business model is a simple subscription. There's 50% margin in it, which will grow as we scale. We're starting with an Australian market of $20 million, doing things the old way, but we think that'll grow quite quickly as the new techniques start to bring value to industry. We see two main customer segments, the growers and the biosecurity organisations, and we'd like to join in with the existing sales channels, and we think we can also create new upsell opportunities for the resellers. There's a little bit of competition, but our offering is the only one that augments the current systems and the current practices, and it's also the only one that gives lots of different use cases. We've got a great team for this job. We've got third generation orchardists, 20-year high-tech experts, and an advisory group of industry veterans in horticulture. We're going to be in profit in the second year, and we'll clear $1 million in year 3. So we're now raising $600,000. We will be refining our product development, building out some strong marketing and training resources, hooking up distribution, and setting up some modern manufacturing that we hope to do here in Victoria. Thank you very much.
And Tim.
Thanks, Kim. Great presentation. That's a very interesting idea. I would have liked to have heard a bit more about what you do with the data that you're pulling off. It wasn't clear to me, you know, what information you're gleaning from this, and where it goes, and what happens with that. So I think that's interesting, you know, to an audience.
Yeah, look, it was a good presentation. I can't say I really understand how it actually worked, but you've only got 3 minutes, so I understand that. But from the banker in me, likes any balance sheet that goes that colour in year 2. That looked very nice to me. And there's a couple of bankers in the room who'll mostly be giving out their cards to you later if we can verify that.
Very interesting idea. I would say, just from a general farmer point of view, that I understand why people go for monthly subscriptions, but as a purchaser of monthly subscriptions, I hate them.
Thank you very much, Kim. And if you'd like to vote for Kim, it's a SX Snaptrap. So not Snapchat, Snaptrap. And next up, we have Cameron and Mohammed from Think.
Imagine if we could increase farmers' profit whilst improving animal welfare. Australia is known as a beef-producing nation. We have around 27 million head of cattle here. And the Australian agriculture industry, 58% of ag businesses have cattle. Across the globe, there's 90 million cattle in the USA and 1.4 billion cattle across the world. But with agriculture, not much has changed over the last 150 years. We still walk around to get cattle into yards, and we put them on scales to measure them. But because of that, we don't really have an accurate understanding of what's happening with our cattle as they grow. This can be a real challenge. And because of this labour-intensive process, it's also very stressful on animals because of the mustering and handling that happens along the way. But farmer profitability can be dramatically increased if we use precision management tools. We will regularly monitor stock as they move about the paddock, allowing farmers to know how many kilos of beef they have in the paddock at any point in time. Our solution will also allow us to see which mothers have fast-growing progeny, so we can help with genetics. And the data will give us yield forecasting, which is valuable not only to the farmer, but also to the finance and insurance industries. We're achieving this using our camera-based, touch-free monitoring system, combining computer vision, image analysis, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. We produce a volumetric assessment of an animal, and that allows us to calculate weight. By monitoring the animals, we're also able to understand their behaviour, leading to early detection of possible disease, and of course that has biosecurity implications. My name is Cameron Leeson. I work in hardware and drone development. I have a Bachelor of Planning and Design. My background throughout my career has been predominantly in design. I run a community makerspace in Brunswick where we get lots of smart people together, and that's where I met Mohammed. Mohammed Bouyoun is my business partner. He's a software engineer with a Bachelor of Computer Science. He works on highly scalable data systems as a software developer, and he's very much a big data specialist. So together, Mohammed and I have mapped out a plan to take our technology to market, with a couple of trials in the Australian market over the next few months as part of the SproutX program. We'll then move to the US, and from there, tackle the globe. We are an early stage business, and we'd love to connect with anybody who has a sharing of our vision of applying cutting-edge technology to improve farmers' profit and animal welfare. And if you've got a keen eye there, you notice we're also looking for show cows. We're particularly interested in connecting with you if you're a show cow, because we understand that your docile temperament will be really valuable to us, because you'll be a great candidate for us to test some of our technology on. Thank you very much.
Excellent, and on to the judges.
Not so fast. Thanks, Cameron and Mohammed. Really good presentation, but I couldn't help but wondering, where's the camera? Because you talked about a drone, and you showed me a camera, and I don't know where it is. So it was kind of like the question that was just burning my mind is, well, how does it work? I'm sure it works, but you really need to kind of explain that, and that was just the missing piece. Otherwise, really well done.
Yeah, look, I've got to endorse that, because I had this mental picture of a post with a camera on that I saw, and the farm's a bit bigger than just that one post. Or, yeah, I just got a little bit lost with that. But you've got a bit of competition. There's a lot of people sort of playing in this area. But if you get this right, there's big dollars.
Yeah, I didn't know what you were trying to do. But I can understand the going forward. I think it's a good idea, but I'm not exactly sure what the end game is yet. And I've got a funny feeling you guys aren't too sure yet either. Good luck with it.
Thank you, guys. So if you'd like to vote for the Think team, it's hashtag SSXXThink. We've got 2 more pictures remaining, so perhaps we can just check on how the hashtag battle's going. And it appears that FarmApp is taking the lead at the moment. So unfortunately, FarmGate MSU's dropped off, and IoTag's currently a third. So keep the votes coming, and we'll see who wins the People's Award. Next up, we have Rowie from Tie Up Farming.
Hi everyone, my name is Roy and I'm from Tie Up Farming. I'm originally from Israel and I'm a second generation to a beekeeper farmer. The horticulture market, we're looking at a $10 billion market, and this is only in Australia. We're also looking at more than 30,000 horticulture farmers, and that is also only in Australia. So what is the problem? The problem is that today we don't have reliable data source for the horticulture industry that provides accurate yield forecasting. It just doesn't exist. Introducing the solution, Tie Up Farming. We have developed the most sophisticated algorithm that combine hard data, raw data from the field, and sophisticated analytic like weather forecast. We're providing this exact problem, this yield forecasting data, to industries like insurance, banks, and most importantly, back to the farmers. Indicative pricing, by the way, that will help them to determine what it's going to look like next week, next month, and in a year's time, and so on. Our main pillar, we also first to aggregate practical solutions like traceability and precision ag solutions like weather stations and soil sensors, all in one platform. We do it by 4 simple steps. First, we isolate the problem. Then we develop the solution. We then design it and program it, and we implement it with the farmers. Yes, we don't have implementation problems because the farmers, eventually, the farmer gets what he or she wants. We currently have about 25 fruit and vegetable growers working with us on Tie Up Farming. Just in the last quarter, we invoiced more than $300,000, and just as a case study, one of our customers managed to save an estimation of $500,000 in around about 8 months. Our competitive advantage, we are first in the market, first that work with the farmer, boots on the ground, and fully customized, providing aggregated solution with practical solutions like traceability, again, and weather stations, and first to provide the horticulture industry accurate, reliable yield forecast. Where we position, so as you can see, again, right up the top in these 2 avenues with the practicality to the individual horticulture farmer and to the industry as a whole, providing accurate yield forecast. Our competition, AWare, for example, from the US, they provide yield forecast for the broad acre farms and not much of practical tools. Expansion plans. So by the end of this year, we will be a dominant player in Australia in the horticulture industry. Then we're going to look, we already have some interest, into Southeast Asia, to countries that are going to start exporting, like Vietnam and Malaysia. All along the way, we're going to keep building our leadership team and advisory board. My ask today might be a bit cheeky. Gary, I'd like to have a coffee date with you to talk about NAB and yield forecasting. Thank you very much.
Well done. And on to Tim.
Thanks, Rui. A good presentation, typically punchy and confident. Again, though, I wasn't 100% sure that you really got to the nub of how it actually works. Never underestimate the curiosity for people to know the kind of the nuts and bolts of actually just kind of where it works. So just, if that could be just explained in a little more detail, would have been great.
I'll buy the coffee.
That was quick.
I'll buy you one as well. It's okay.
I'd love to be in on that conversation. Obviously, traceability is supremely important and only getting more so as we see government involved more and more in our industry, and that's a great idea. The yield forecasting is, again, I think, a great idea, and I wish you luck. Well done, Rowie.
Excellent. And in order to vote for Rowie, it's hashtag SX tie up farming. So last, but certainly not least, we have Damien from WaterSave.
Hi, I'm Damien from WaterSave. We're on a mission right now to reduce the water and power consumption on Australian farms. So we're a North Queensland-based startup. Naturally enough, we're very proud of our Great Barrier Reef, but we're seriously concerned about its current health and we're fearful for its future. Over the last year, we've spoken to thousands of farmers. And of course, they're talking about reducing their costs of power and water consumption. What we've found in these conversations is they're generally concerned about the effect that their fertilisers are having on the Great Barrier Reef. And they're wanting to reduce it. They want to know what's happening, and they're looking to us for answers. So we created WaterSave, which is a long-range, wide-area network of sensors. So it includes micro-weather stations, nitrate, soil moisture, and irrigation sensors. Now, what this does is it takes the guesswork out of irrigation for farmers. So imagine on a single paddock, reducing that irrigation time by a couple of hours and then timesing that by, hundreds of paddocks. Now, what it means is that farmers are reducing cost by approximately 20%. Next week, we're going to be building a network in North Queensland covering 70,000 hectares of flood-irrigated sugarcane. What this means is we're going to have access to about 960 farms. Now, they're going to be given micro-weather stations, so they'll have access to that data, but each farm might then choose to go and purchase an individual sensor right the way through to a fully automated irrigation system, which gives us access to a $30 million market. The revenue model is quite simple. Of course, we derive revenue from the hardware, from the software platforms, and of course it's not monthly subscription on the sensors, but the sensors themselves, there's an annual subscription which you're driving income from. Now, I know some of you are sitting there going, yeah, it's another irrigation system, it's a crowded market. Yes, it is. But using LoRaWAN technology, what our system allows the farmer to do is look at multiple solutions, okay, and plug those various sensors into one single network, okay, so they can continue to add solutions across the farm. Because we're using LoRaWAN, there's no individual SIM card in the sensors, so the cost for the farmer is significantly lower. Battery life, up to 7 years, and the range, anything up to 15 kilometres. Now, we assembled a super group, so we've got a startup innovation champion, we've got a construction and commercialisation expert, and we've got a tech guru who's been building hardware and electronic gear on farms since the age of 10. So really excited about the team. The business model right now is actually pre-packaged solutions ready to go. So we're looking for supply partners right now. We know we've got to run. We're a startup. We've got to move quickly. So we're looking for supply partners, distribution partners, so that we can scale across Australia and internationally quite quickly. Now, this is Willie. Willie's looking happy now. Why? Because we've done the sums. And we've realised that in his first year, he's going to save approximately $80,000. Okay? The costs, of course, are going to be incurred through less consumption of power and water. But most importantly now, we've realised that we can avoid excess fertilisers, which means they're not going to be running off into the reef. We're really excited about the opportunity of next week starting to work with hundreds of farmers in North Queensland to achieve these same results. But more importantly, now we know that we can duplicate this model across other irrigated industries. So right now, we're looking for $500,000 to continue to build more networks across Australia. Thank you.
And on to the final judgment.
Thanks, Damien. That was a great presentation. It's a really good idea. You told the story really well. Started with the story, I liked it. You know, this will have appeal to the impact investment market as well. So that means your capital raising challenges are probably less as you go forward. But yeah, well done. Good presentation.
Yeah, I'd like to endorse it. I think people are looking for ways to help fund Save the Reef. And the bit that triggered I've been thinking about this one a lot, is that I think we've got about 4,500 weather stations in Australia. Why don't we have 450,000? Because we've got so many sensors on farm now. And so how do we link, how do we get a network? And I really like that you had that in that cane area there. I was impressed.
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea. And I'll tell you a little story. When I was farming at Narooma up on the south coast, the closed lake that we lived on had a nitrate problem, and so everyone assumed it was us fertilising everything upstream. There were 2 farmers on the catchment. So they sent someone down from ANU, came down, did a doctorate, and found that it was natural cycle from rotting vegetation in the system. So everyone jumps up and down about nitrates and no one knows where it comes from. And I think this is brilliant, because now you can have the argument, you can have the discussion. Well, it's not us or it is us, we can do something. So I think it's a great idea. Well done.
And so Damien's from the WaterSave team. If you'd like to vote for him, it's SX WaterSave. So I was actually really impressed. Like, it's really come off. No one choked. So yeah, that was really good. So yeah, look, please join me in just thanking the teams for a job well done. So just a bit of a note, I mean, some of the teams only just started a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, some of them have been in the business for longer than others, but the pictures have literally just come off in the past few days. So I think we've got some exceptional talent in Australia's first Agtech cohort. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to leave it to the judges to gather and have a bit of a chat to make the very difficult decision as to who the winner is. And while we're doing that, I'd like to call up Thomas Paul from Findex just to talk about the SproutX journey and also what Findex is just doing in the area. And then once he's done, we'll announce the winners.
Thanks, Andrew. Andrew and Sam, in typical fashion, have sprung this on me, so I've got a couple of little notes here on my phone just to make a few points. I think that I'm up here instead of some elevator music while the judges deliberate on their decisions. So, look, I'm going to take the couple of minute opportunity just to give you a little bit of background on how the whole program and the SproutX entity did actually come to form. We were sitting down in Melbourne about 18 months ago in an office just around the corner from here, talking about what we could do with a farming partner of ours at the time, which was the National Farmers Federation, one of Findex's premier brands in Crowhorworth, who is an agribusiness specialist placed in rural locations around Australia and New Zealand. It started to do some work with the National Farmers Federation on how we could assist them on their journey of digital transformation and business improvement. And so Simon Talbot, who's with us tonight, sitting in the front row, g'day Simon. Simon and I had a discussion at the time, and Simon was arguing that there was really a funding gap for early stage agtech investment, and I'm sure he was well motivated by the success of schemes like AgFunder, both in our market and internationally. And I guess myself, coming from the background of business advisory and business improvement, was probably arguing more that there was an education gap. And so when you put funding and education together, I think you naturally get an accelerator program. And so we kind of walked down the corridor and knocked the door of Spiro Paul, Findex's CEO, and said, "What do you think? What do you think about collaborating on a joint entity and you know, putting some operations and some money behind running an agtech accelerator?" Certainly at the time there was a lot of fanfare about fintech. Working in the financial services industry, I know they do their marketing really well in fintech, but I haven't seen any real solutions you know, kind of hit the market in that space. So we thought there was a natural opportunity for Agtech to grow a community and put some resources and awareness around what's a really, really important industry for our country's future. So Spiro kind of said, "What do you guys know about an accelerator?" But, you know, we're not scared of a challenge and running a startup, so he gave it the green light. First thing Simon and I went and did then was go and recruit some really intelligent people to make us look good. And so we found, Simon actually brought Sam Trathui, who's our general manager, and I managed to dig up Andrew Lai, who was our, we were doing some work in the fintech space together. So the gentlemen kind of got together, they're like an odd couple, you can see them there on my left. But an amazing team, nonetheless, honestly. They come in my office and bother me all the time with all the energy that they have. But in all seriousness, it's been 12 months. They're always up here doing the thanking, and very rarely do we get an opportunity to turn the spotlight on them and say, not only have they put together an amazing program, but just a wonderful thing that they've done, and you know, really deserve a round of applause. I just want to take one more minute, if I can, guys, just to quickly thank a couple of foundation partners as well. When you've just got an idea and not much else, and a couple of enthusiastic gents with you, it's really hard for corporate and government to kind of see the vision and put some funding behind it. So certainly to the Victorian government, and you know, specifically to Yala Pulford, she was a fantastic supporter, not only with funding and grant money, but also in a really tactical way. Both her and her team have been at all of our meetups, our events. She can't be with us tonight. I think she's actually in Israel doing an Agtech tour at the moment, so true to form. But she was a wonderful supporter, and we're just really thankful to be partnered with them. Also, Tim Higgins is here tonight from Rural. Rural have been an amazing foundational partner once again, been really involved in helping to select the startups. I know that they'll be giving them mentoring and plenty of business acumen over their journeys. So it's just been fantastic. There's plenty others on that list, but I think, you know, in all fairness, they're the two outside of the National Farmers and, of course, Findex that have really stepped up and helped us drive this program forward. Look, that's really it from me. I just want to say we're committed to a multi-year program here in this space. It's a 4-year at least program, and it would be remiss for me not to mention our venture capital partners in Artesian Ventures. So we've got Tim here. And so, look, it's not just one intake. This is one intake of at least 4, and we hope many more than that. So if you're sitting out there in the audience tonight, you're from government, corporate, you're a startup, you're interested in this space, we're going to be around for a while. So we'd love to collaborate with you in one way or another. Hustle up, Andrew and Sam. Come and have a coffee with myself, whatever it is. We'd love to hear from you, and thanks for being in attendance. That's it.
Thanks a lot for that, Thomas. And now we're on to the awards. So we're going to start off with the People's Awards because it's a bit more obvious. So we'd like to call up Chris Balaz from Farmgate MSU.
There you go, mate.
Excellent. Yeah, so we don't have a novelty check to give you at the moment. Yeah, but perhaps afterwards we'll slip you some cash, and yeah, appreciate that. So it's $500. That's what he's won for the People's Award. Excellent. Thank you. In terms of the judging process, it certainly wasn't easy. There's a lot of great teams out there, and the enthusiasm that's certainly in the audience, it's palatable. You can certainly feel it here. Australia's first Agtech Accelerator program, everyone wasn't sure, and even we weren't sure of the quality that we'd be getting, and of course it's just overwhelmed us in terms of what we actually have. So we're really thankful for that. But look, in terms of a pitch night, there can only be one winner. So yeah, it's Farmgate MSU again. So Chris and the team, they'll be winning venture capital interviews with Findex, Rulco, and also Artesian Venture Capital. So well sought after and well done, well won.
Thank you very much. I've just got to thank my team as well, because it's all of us that have come together to do it, and it's the combined skill set that's going to make Farmgate MSU possible. And I want to thank SproutX as well, because really bringing tech into agriculture. I've been in it for a while. I've come from a pharmaceutical background, which is heavily technologised, and I'm not even sure that's a word. It's great to see that it's moving into my new passion, which is agriculture. So thanks, guys. Well done.
Pleasure, mate. All right, well, I think we're about to wrap up there. I was absolutely blown away by the pictures, as Andrew mentioned. They all came to us, obviously, the last few weeks, and some of them hadn't really even pitched at the start of the week, and I think that we could all agree that they've done a fantastic job. It's a really exciting role for us, and it's like watching babies grow. They've come so far in just 4 days. So we'd love to see you all as we keep on growing the momentum and the size of the ecosystem. Of course, we'll do a huge demo day at the end of the year, yeah, I just wanted to make a few more notes, and also just wanted to a big wave to the guys that are live streaming tonight. So, and we're also trending on Twitter, which is fantastic. So we've got, must have a number of thousand people viewing in through the Stock and Land, Fairfax Media, and of course watching everything on Twitter. So thanks very much. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you at other events. Enjoy the bar. Thank you.